Good day, Prof. My name is Isioma Pamela Iroha. I'm here for the group presentation, Communication Barrier in International Business Environment. Presenting alongside with me is Temitope Ajidagba, Ishan Subedu, and Tahar Sahif. Since the 1980s, globalization has been increasing at an exponential rate, and communication plays a vital role when conducting international business. According to Griffin 2002, successful communication is acknowledged as a critical component in the international business environment and includes the sharing of knowledge, creation and maintenance of connections, negotiation of transactions, and construction and maintenance of partnership. They all depend heavily on communication. Some communication barriers, such as language, religion, cultural differences, may hinder communication in an international business environment. All the three mentioned, language and cultural differences play a major role when conducting international business. For instance, when sending a message to someone from a different culture, it involves cross-cultural communication. And when the message being sent is not understood by the person receiving the message, then cross-cultural misunderstanding has taken place or occurs. Religion also plays a paramount role to the way people communicate due to the preconceived notion and attitude of others. People find it very difficult to communicate with others who practice a different religion from theirs. Language also plays a major role. When people speak different languages or when conducting international business, people or the business partners find themselves hiring an interpreter to be able to interpret to the other person that doesn't understand the language being spoken. All these barriers can lead to strife and communication breakdown, and which can affect the overall success of the business. It is crucial that communication is adapted to many languages and cultures when doing business internationally, because most people have several branches around the globe. And for global success to be achieved amongst international partners, effective communication is key. The topic communication has been downplayed upon and much attention has not been given towards it. It is important that much attention is given to this topic communication so that it can be fully understood. Some benefits of communication include building trust and commitment, protecting and communicating marketing reputation, reducing intercultural conflicts, and maintaining the standard global business relationship. And for global success to be achieved amongst international partners, effective communication is key. For this presentation, we are going to elaborate on the communication barriers in international business environments and the solutions and the benefits and recommended solutions for it. Having said all that, I will now hand over to my colleague and partner, Temitope Ajidagba, to elaborate more on the communication barriers. Thank you.
Thank you, Isioma. So in the continuation of our presentation, I'll be discussing about the major communication barrier in international business environment. So in our research proposal, we spoke about 3 barriers, which are cultural differences, language, and religion. Firstly, I'll be talking about cultural differences. This is the first barrier in the communication. In my simple definition, culture is the way of life of a group of people and their specific way of doing things. But according to Harlan and Simon, in the 6th edition of the Rule of Communication in the international business, culture is seen as the total sum of techniques, beliefs, and artifacts that characterizes human population or the collective programming of their mind. Cultural differences has become more challenging because method of communication varies and among cultures and negotiations on cultural understanding. So with this, there has been an aim to strengthen the body of communication in global markets by identifying the important gaps in the conceptualization of communication research and also the study of intra-communication patterns across cultures. This is what we call cross-cultural communication. So here is a visual representation that shows the way by which culture hinders the growth of international business. So we have our nation, diversity, tradition, ethnics, and the belief of people. It's just a visual representation of how culture captures the belief of people. So secondly, I'll be talking about religion. The second barrier we have is religion. According to Harlan, Rogman, and Simon in the 6th edition, or in the role of communication business, religion is defined as the sociocultural or belief, cultural system or the belief to which someone ascribes supreme importance. It is linked to both regional value and a set of shared core values, according to Max Weber in 1904. The sociologists have a different perspective about religion, work, and ethics. This is known as spirit of capitalism. During the Industrial Revolution, however, religious beliefs prompted the need to investigate longer-term rewards. It is important to understand key elements of culture, religion, attitudes, and norms of people within a society and all over the world. For example, in the Jewish and Islamic countries, the importation of diplomatic goods such as bacon, indecent clothing are prohibited due to their religion, differences, and norms. This search proposes the need to examine the link between sustainable market behaviors and religion in order to maintain an effective global business relationship. So this bar chart here shows a moderating effect of consumers during an eco-friendly purchase and disposal behavior in the US and in the Korea. So the bar with the string lines is representing the US, while the plain bar represents the Korea. So we have different religion in the countries, the Buddhist high religion, the Buddhist low religion, the Christian low religion, the Christian high religion, and the atheist. So here is the percentage of how the purchased the eco-friendly and the disposal behaviors. So here is a representation of their purchase during a certain period of time. So thirdly, we discussed about language. Language is a structured system of communication used by a country or community. This is nearly no part of our lives that is not impacted by language. So partners involved in global business will not underestimate the power of language in international business because it is predicted that trading between two countries that speak the same language has more prospect than those that speak different language. For instance, when an international company is trying to pass information and knowledge to business partners, there could be mixture of technical terms in terms of language, which could hinder the ability to pass the right information. Although most international companies employ the expertise of translators or intermediaries to fill this gap for them. It is quite important, however, to focus on these barriers for an international business to operate successfully and profitably because the world is already a global competitive market. So at this point, I would like to invite my elder partner, Aishant, to speak on our next subtopic, which is the benefits and the success of solving this communication barrier in the international business.
Here, I'll be talking about various benefits and success of solving various miscommunication in the international business environment. The full benefits of having good communication that we've listed out are reduced intercultural conflicts, maintain standard global relationships, build trust and commitment, and finally protects and communicates market reputation. So the first one on our list is reduced intercultural conflicts. So what is a conflict? Conflict can be basically defined as an incompatibility of goals or values between two or more parties involved in a relationship. So having a good communication would clarify misunderstandings, strengthen common interests and goals, and it will build a long-term relationship between parties. The second one on our list is maintains standard global relationship. So nowadays everything is global, and having a good communication and having knowledge on various communication barriers will enable two parties to have a good relationship with their business partners around the world. Not only that, it will open platform in all components to ensure good relationships. It will communicate respect and understanding between the parties, which in return will avoid unwanted conflicts, and it will advocate trust. The third one on our list is that it builds trust and commitment. So trust and commitment do not just happen, but are established and maintained through effective communication over time. So having a good communication skill and being aware of the various barriers in international business environment will promote mutual trust-based relationships, which in return results in gaining the commitment, which is good for business. The last one on our list is protect and communicate market reputation. So Benjamin Franklin once quoted that it takes many good deeds to build a reputation, but it only takes one bad deed to ruin it. This is actually very true in terms of international business environment, because a simple choice of bad words can cause huge damage to company's reputation, which may or may not be redeemed over time. A good communication helps to build and maintain the public sentiments, which is very necessary to run any international business. Now, I would like to hand over the presentation to my colleague Saif, who's gonna discuss about various recommendations and our conclusion. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you for having us and giving us the opportunity to talk about this interesting and wonderful topic. We look forward for the following recommendation to be taken into consideration. And the following recommendation are etiquettes must be followed in all forms of business correspondences. Business etiquette, this involves not talking about sensitive subjects when it comes to business. It should be straight to business with your partner as usual. While the second point is that should be taken into recommendation is business partners should always abstain from using religious references during business communication. Religious references such as Muslims don't drink, or rather they don't eat pork. So business partners should be aware of all this, because this is sensitive, so it should be avoided. And the following the following recommendation is courtesy should be practiced in all ramifications of business of communication, and most importantly, there should not be discrimination, especially in religion. Well, business partners should be aware of religions, languages, most especially aware of other religion and languages and cultural differences. There shouldn't be discrimination among others or of others. And the other recommendation is before communicating with any party in the field of international business, a thorough background check on the party, social cultural acceptance, geopolitical scenario, cultural taboos, religion, would go a long way in establishing a meaningful relationship. This is before communicating with a new party, you should understand the situation and the culture and try not to be offensive. So business environment should be aware of all this ramifications. They should be aware not they should be aware of the business environment that they're getting their self into. So like they should take all of this recommendation into consideration. In conclusion, in conclusion, uh, all these challenges of communication in different international business environment due to cultural differences, languages, and religion has caused more damage than good over the years. However, understanding the techniques of intercultural languages and building good trust and interpersonal relationship can help reduce tension among nations and create a friendly environment for business. Um, all of this should not matter in business environment. These things, these things are irrelevant and should not be brought out. And in a business environment, two parties should be there for each other. Thank you for having us, Professor. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you. I hope you find this topic interesting, and I hope this recommendation this and this recommendation of this topic would be initiated in every business environment. Thank you.